Yep. That's where I shared it.
No.
Good ball. Encroachment. Defense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Is it back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it looks like we may be back right now here on the D&D Sports Network. Again, there was a 5-yard encroachment penalty just called on Greenbrier East, so that's all that you may have missed while we were away there. Again, appreciate Darryl getting things working once again here for us, as it'll be 1st and goal for Chapmanville as they'll pitch it over to Ward. Ward, big lane, and he'll sashay into the end zone as easy as could be. Touchdown, Chapmanville.
We talked about new wrinkles for the playoffs. That was definitely one. Trey Ward comes in motion, sets up as a running back behind Dakota Dalton. A little quick toss, wide open spaces right into the Spartan end zone for Chapmanville, answering back. This is absolutely punch counter punch. Every single drive has resulted in a score. Excuse me.
3 touchdowns for Greenbrier East, 3 touchdowns for Chapmanville. The only difference is what you're about to see right now. Again, Greenbrier East is 0 for 3 on conversion attempts tonight. Chapmanville 2 for 2. This one almost blocked, and Farrell gets it through nonetheless. And that is the difference in the game right now. 3 for 3 on extra point attempts for Chapmanville, 0 for 3 for Greenbrier East. We'll be right back after this as you're watching high school playoff action on the D&D Sports Network.
Come on down to Three Guys Pizza and Brew in Williamson, West Virginia. We're located on the corner of Harvey Street and 3rd Avenue. We got great deals on pizzas, sandwiches, and more. You get great service with great pricing. Enjoy your birthday or ball games with us here at Three Guys Pizza and Brew. Look forward to seeing you.
Welcome back, everybody. Chris Kidd here with you. Alongside me, Dwayne Williams, Darryl McCoy, and Michael Sean Waller here for this first-round playoff matchup. And, man, did we pick a good one to come to or what? Again, 6 drives, 6 scores here in the first half, Dwayne. Yeah,
we talked about this as one of the most talked-about matchups in the state tonight, and how lucky are we to have the best seat in the house and bring it to all you folks out there. But if you're a fan of offense, you couldn't ask for more. Now, if you're a little bit old school and you want to see that grinded out 9-6 type game, this is not your game.
No.
But I think today's fans are pretty happy with the game so far.
So stops are going to be at a premium perhaps tonight, as this one, High Hopper, comes out about the 30-yard line. Not a whole lot of room to run to that time for Seams, and he's going to be brought down at about the 35. Good coverage by Chapmanville.
Looks like Keegan Craddock finished up the tackle there. Great coverage, nice physical tackle at the end. Now it's the Spartans' turn.
Real quick, guys, want to remind everybody you can also watch these games over on the NFHS. Make sure you hit them up for all your high school football needs here in West Virginia.
Yep, it's one area I at least won't miss about coaching right there is going there to do all of the classes that you have to take in order to get certified once again. So bon voyage as far as that website goes. But yes, we're definitely on several different areas for you to try and enjoy the playoffs here tonight, and NFHS being one of them. As they'll hand it off on first down to Godfrey. Tries to get outside, and Godfrey's just had nowhere to run all night long, and Greenbrier East has had to get it done primarily through the air.
Nice tackle there by Trey Ward, but the initial impact there was Jeremy Collins blasting right through the line and diving at his feet to slow him down, make him take a wider angle. Trey Ward had nobody to cover out here, made a great play, looked like a linebacker on that play. Nice tackle to finish it up.
So real quick, guys, want to remind everybody, if it does go out, switch over to the YouTube channel and watch it there.
Deep down the middle, and there's a connection, and that's going to be a bomb for a touchdown as he hits Grant Burdett, and Hemrick shows off the arm once again tonight, and quickly Greenbrier East back out in front.
It's almost like the secondary paused for a second there. They didn't think he was going to finish that play. As you can see, Hemrick has the tools. That's a very nice pass. He's shown all game on target, in stride. Greenbrier answers once again.
Hammered. He has had a heck of a first half here. As we talked about, with the running game being virtually non-existent so far, he's really been able to carry the load through the air. And now a chance for Greenbrier East to go up by 4. Again, they missed their first extra point attempt, then missed the next two-point conversions. This one up, and this one is good. So Greenbrier East finally converts an extra point attempt, and they lead it 25-21 with 5:45 to go in the first half. Back after this as you're watching high school football playoff action on the D&D Sports Network.
Unfortunately, water, mold, or fire damage can happen to you. Restoration One of Southern West Virginia is available 24/7 to help take the stress out of your mess. Our primary goal is to respond and restore your property back to normal as quickly and safely as possible. When disaster strikes, Restoration One is your go-to cleanup crew. Save our number now in case you need us later. Whether the job is big or small, give Restoration One a call. 304-443-4959.
And we are back here as it is Greenbrier East striking again with 25-21 lead over Chapmanville with 5:45 to go here in the second quarter. Dwayne Williams, Chris Kidd, Darryl McCoy on the call.
Now Greenbrier East will kick off once again as we're now 7 for 7 on touchdown drives here tonight on both sides. It's Chapmanville's turn to try and answer again as they'll kick this one deep to Ward at the 10-yard line. Ward to the 25, looking for a seam, gets a burst out to the 40, loses the football, but Chapmanville gets back on top of it. It looked to be Evan Strange that may have been the man to fall on it for Chapmanville. And that was kind of what I was about to say, Dwayne. Who's going to make the first mistake in this game?
Yeah, in a game like this, a mistake of that magnitude would compound and snowball with momentum, especially on someone's home field. Heads-up play there by Evan Strange to dive on that ball immediately, keeps the Tigers here in business. And, Chris, we were talking briefly there at the break. These teams are kind of mirror images of each other. They have weapons on this entire field, all over the field, very balanced.
Right now, who's going to blink first? So pitch it over to Ward. Ward cuts back inside at the 40, trying to find a crease. He'll be bottled up, but not until he picks up about 6 yards on the carry.
That's the play they scored the touchdown on, a new little wrinkle they've put in. They're trying to find ways to get the ball into his hands, and why not? Because he has the speed, he has the moves, he has the physicality, and this offensive line staying busy. I think Dawson Atkins made about 4 blocks there on 4 different people. He did it immediately. The impact when they come with with a player like Trey Ward, you got to be aware because he's cut back, he's reversing field. Typically, you don't like that. With his speed, you're okay with it. And Dawson and company is down there just blocking every ugly jersey in front of him.
Now the Greenbrier East fans getting into it here on 2nd and 4. Dalton keeps it, and he'll get close to the first down marker, but he'll be brought down a yard shy.
They are just bringing the right amount of pressure and their approach to this. Their defensive line's doing a great job of standing up to this very talented Tigers offensive line, and the linebackers are just reading and reacting, not giving up that big play on the ground yet. So a nice defensive play there by the Spartans.
It'll be 3rd and 1 now at Chapmanville's own 47-yard line. 5:25 and counting here in the second quarter.
With how aggressive those linebackers are, I wouldn't be surprised to see the dump off to Benji soon.
They give it off to Kovac, and Kovac back into the game, and he finds a little hole across midfield to about the 46, close to the 45 to move the chains. And I'll tell you something else here on this drive, Dwayne. I think you're seeing Chapmanville being a little bit more methodical now because they get the ball to start the third quarter as well. They'd love to go down and get a score and then try and get the 2-for-1 going into halftime.
Yeah, they're trying to get the Bill Belichick, Andy Reid special. Score at the end of the first, get the ball back. Great catch by you there, Chris. And nice to see Kovac back on the field. That's who you want when you see third or anytime you have short distance yardage to go. Good to see him back out there on the field.
Under 4 minutes to go in the first half. They'll go back to Kovac, takes it off the left side, cuts back inside the 40, and Kovac once again another strong, powerful run for a gain of 8. And it's been the exact opposite on both sides. Greenbrier East has had trouble running the ball. Chapmanville's been very effective running the ball, but Greenbrier's passing game has been immaculate.
It's so interesting to see how they're approaching the game on both sides there, and just a fantastic pull and block there by Caleb Robinette. He battled back from an injury early on in the season. He solidified this offensive line the way he pulled there and led on that block. Nice play there.
So 2nd down and 3 officially. Like I said, you see Chapmanville slowing things down right now. And even if they don't score here, they definitely don't want to give Greenbrier East a chance to try and go in, take a 2-score lead at half. As Atkins gets the handoff, he'll take it to the outside, and he'll have the first down as he spins down to about the 31-yard line, and that'll move the chains again. And again, this is just great play calling, great time management right now by Chapmanville.
Yeah, I like the fact that the offensive coordinator, James Barker, doesn't shy away from calling the same play 2 times in a row. So a lot of times coaches try to outthink themselves. It drives me crazy watching even the pros. You got 4th and inches, let's get in a shotgun 5 yards deep and just do something like that drives me bananas, especially when the Packers lose because of it. That's another story. But the same play there with Robinette pulling from his position and leading through there. Nice conversion by the Tigers.
Down to 2:37 and counting here is Dalton. Quick throw to the outside, finds Ward, but Ward can't shake free as Stone does what very few have been able to do this year, and they bring down Ward for no gain.
Now I see why things I read about, I constantly saw the mention of Suttle and Stone. Suttle and Stone, they like that name combination. They like that saying, and we see why. They've been playmakers tonight. A very good one-on-one tackle against a very, very fast and shifty Trey Ward.
Now Kovac will check out as Collins will come back in on 2nd and 10. Again, Chapmanville has all 3 timeouts. Greenbrier East has 2.
Empty backfield.
So they will look to go in the air here as Dalton looks over the middle for Adkins. He makes catch in traffic as he fights forward, and he'll have the first down inside the 20.
Nice play call. We haven't seen a whole lot of slant calls this season from the Tigers offense, though, but good patience by Dalton. Typically you want to get that out first. He saw the defender kind of get in that window. He held off for a split second. Very good decision. Keeps the Tigers in business here in the red zone.
Again, now the clock under 2 minutes. We're down to 1:40 to go here in the first half. Again, Chapmanville's worked the clock incredibly here on this drive so far. Will it all pay off in the end? As they get Collins in the backfield now, they'll give it off to him. Collins pushes forward inside the 15, down to the 10, and he'll be brought down there after a gain of close to 8.
Nice solid gain there. We've called out the offensive line for their good play. Also want to mention we've called out Benji Aggins for being a fantastic tight end, but he stays in to block it a lot. He is like their 6th lineman, and what a luxury to have a guy who's that talented out in open space who can also be your lineman. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic, and he was very involved there on that initial push.
Yeah, I was wondering if Greenbrier East would start to take timeouts here, but really they're in a disadvantageous situation to try and do so right now, as Chapmanville doesn't really like their alignment here as they let the play clock run down, and they'll call for time with 52.4 seconds to go here in the first half. And again, they've used almost 5 minutes of this clock right now, Dwain, and that had to be the talk going into this drive. We're basically going to get in like a 6-minute drill type situation, try and eat up as much of the clock. If we don't score, hopefully they don't score, and we get the ball to try and take the lead to start the third. But if you can score, get the ball again in a game where nobody stopped anybody, that could be huge.
Oh, it's fantastic, and it's just an excellent time management here by the Tigers coaching staff. I just talked about how sometimes coaches outthink themselves. We see coaches, in big-time college football and in pros. We've seen examples of pro coaches having to hire a time management manager to help them with it. So just a good job by the coaching staff and this offense and the quarterback to run things exactly how you want, almost to perfection. Now, the key is how they're going to finish this. You can't afford a turnover. You can't afford it's kind of a mix of you want to take a shot here, you want to be aggressive, but you don't want anything to disrupt, because at worst, you have a solid field goal kicker. If you can get 3, then get the ball back, that's still a victory. But they're thinking the end zone.
All right, guys, real quick, let's go to the GMR service comment section. Hunter White says Chapmanville can't cover the pass. Brady Cox says Gladdy Harvey's, they're playing a good team now. That's the difference. Said Tigers is a very good team, Gladdy says. Brady Cox says absolutely, but it's harder to stop Greenbrier East than it is to St. Albans. Said Chapmanville's got their work to do from here on out.
Dalton Dalton looks for a slant, completes it to Ward. He fights forward. Did he get across? He did. Touchdown Chapmanville with 47.9 seconds to go in the half, and they reclaim the lead again.
And that's how you run a time management drive perfection. Fantastic throw by Dakota Dalton. A little play actions, quick slant. It's with the speed they have at wide receiver, that's almost unguardable, but it still has to be an accurate, on-time pass. Love the play call there by O.C. Barker.
Again, they leave 47.9 seconds on the clock and 2 timeouts for Greenbrier East. So you know they have to try and go for it and see if they can reclaim the lead as they blow this play dead. I wonder if Subtle got a little bit of a head start off the edge that time for the Spartans.
That would be my guess.
Encroachment. Defense number 1.
I've been on fire tonight, Dwain.
You are, Chris. You are.
Now, if you've been with us all season, folks, that is not the case normally. So
Hey, you're stepping up your game. It's playoff time, Chris. You just wait till the games mean more.
Exactly. I'm just a gamer. What can I say? Yeah, I was going to say, don't if you're from Greenbrier East, don't put too much stock in my predictions. They're not very good. Now, instead of electing to go for 2, they'll try the extra point again, but now another flag comes in.
Dead ball. False start.
And now this one will hurt Chapmanville a lot worse, as this will drive them back 5 yards with a false start.
I don't think we've seen that all season from the point after team here, Chris.
I'll tell you what, Greenbrier East has had a couple of good pushes on these extra points, nearly had a couple blocked already. But now Farrell will attempt this one from the 15-yard line. Greenbrier East going to sell out to try and get the block here. The snap is down. Settle comes off the edge quick as Farrell got it up, but pushed it to the left. And that was forced by the speed of Subtle off the edge. But Chapmanville leads at 27-25. We'll be back after this as you're watching high school football playoff action on the D&D Sports Network.
5 times is a charm. Congratulations to the awesome team at Precision Heating, Cooling, Electrical for earning its 5th National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction, the only HVAC company in West Virginia to earn our award for 5 straight years. If you need heating, cooling, electrical work, a fantastic generator, residential or commercial, done right at a fair price by honest experts, remember the name, Precision Heating, Cooling, Electrical. Visit PreciseHeatingCooling.com for an appointment. Precision, the best of the best, again.
Back here at Greenbrier East High School as Chapmanville strikes on a Trey Ward touchdown and takes the lead 27-25 on the Diamond Flagging Company scoreboard down on the bottom of your screen. Chris Kidd, Dwayne Williams, Darryl McCoy, and Michael Sean Waller on the call.
Well, the question of the hour, can anyone stop anyone in this game? 8 drives, 8 touchdowns, and now 47.9 seconds for Greenbrier East with 2 timeouts. Seems like an eternity with the way this first half's gone.
And we've seen how dangerous they are in the kickoff return game. This is going to be a big kickoff right here.
It's a little squibber by McClanahan, placed it perfectly. Now ball comes out, but Greenbrier East, just like Chapmanville did a moment ago, able to fall on top of it.
We talked about these teams being mirror images, and they're taking it to another level. You know, let's fumble and recover. Now I'm going to fumble and recover. You know, enough's enough, guys. Let's separate each other.
I was about to say the same thing, Dwayne. I was like, it's eerie.
It really, really is. But we've talked about this passing offense has been the problem for the Chapmanville defense. With the timeouts, with 44 seconds, with this arm talent for Greenbrier East, you know, Chapmanville cannot lose focus right here in these last 44 seconds.
Again, you saw the big strike on the last possession for Greenbrier East as they hit Burdett on the long touchdown throw. And they're not going to play around here. They're sending all the receivers out with 44.1 seconds left in the half. They send a man motion, and now flag comes in. This could be illegal motion by Greenbrier East as Hamrick takes off. And Wisely just goes down quickly because the longer that play went, the more clock they were going to eat up. But this is going to cost them 5 yards.
That's not how you want to start your drive. A lot of times coaches will see how they do on the first couple plays, maybe even the first play of what they want to do. They don't want to take too many chances in their own side of the field to give the Tigers, you know, a turnover or something, so that might affect their play calling and how they want to finish this first half.
And I tell you, if you're Greenbrier East, you've got to be frustrated, especially Coach Ray Lee in his 14th season. I mean, you come out, you scored on all 4 of your possessions, you got 25 points, and you could be down at halftime and not even have the ball to start the third quarter. I mean, you drew it up the way you wanted to offensively, but it's not quite gone the way you wanted to on the other side of the ball. So that's why this drive holds so much weight to it right now. As Hamrick now under pressure for one of the few times tonight, gives some ground as he fades and throws it away with 19.3 seconds left.
That's such a great point, Chris, because before the season, if you went to coach and said, hey, you're going to score on every single drive that you have in the first half, would you take that?
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's the kicker. You're going to be down and not get the ball in the second half. That's very wild. We didn't see that coming, but, they couldn't start this any better, but the problems in their kicking game for the extra point and then trying to chase that point a couple times with 2-point conversions have them in this hole.
Yeah, it's really been the story of the first half as far as the score goes. That's the difference right now. 3 missed extra point tries by Greenbrier East, only 1 for Chapmanville. So they'll hand it off now in the backfield. Not a lot there. And it looks like Greenbrier East, will they stop the clock? Yes, they will with 12.5 seconds left.
Trying to get a quick pop there with the run. Jackson Topping's not going to let that happen. Nice tackle there.
And really, I can't think of a big run in this first half other than Hamrick breaking free on that 4th down. But Chapmanville's done a tremendous job against the run.
Yeah. They got, I'm sure, the focus in the locker room at halftime. Coach Bender, Coach Belcher, they're going to figure out what's going on in the pass defense. That's going to be their focus for the second half. And like you talked about, it's the vice versa with the Chapmanville offense. They have pounded the Spartans on the ground, so they're going to be looking at how to, force them to throw, which is not a good strategy when you have a quarterback like Dalton back there and all of his weapons.
Again, 12.5 seconds, just 1 timeout remaining now for Greenbrier East. So if you're Chapmanville, they've likely got 2 plays left in this half. You just cannot allow anyone to get behind you right now. To keep everything in front, make the tackle, even if it's out of bounds right now, that's fine. Give them 15, 20 yards and just try and get this to the last play of the half.
Yeah, you only got 12 seconds, so any type of distance plays, you might be able to get 2. That's it. So no busted coverage. You got to have communication. I see Agyans and Ward back here, the safeties, they're communicating. They got to make sure there are no hiccups at all in coverage.
We'll keep everything in front of you here.
Now they'll put Hamrick in the pistol here. It's 3rd down and 12. Looks to throw near side, completes it. Trying to get out of trouble here and trying to get to the sideline is Subtle. And looks like they're going to give it to him with 6.2 seconds left. But if you're Chapmanville, you'll definitely take that. Not a whole lot of yardage, and now they're down to probably their last play of the half.
Yeah, it took up, half the time there of what they had left. You got to wonder, at this point you don't want anything crazy to happen, so I don't expect any type of crazy plays like it, would be at the end of the game. Probably we'll see another safe handoff to see if something breaks, but I don't think they'll take a chance for a pick 6, a batted ball, anything like that. That would be absolutely disaster.
Yeah, actually Greenbrier East got to be careful here. It's 4th down and 7. Looks like they are actually putting on the punt team. I didn't know these existed tonight.
Yeah, I missed that myself too because we haven't seen it. So, so we're going to flip this. Punt coverage is going to be massive right here.
And now flag comes in. Looks like a delay of game penalty is going to be called against Greenbrier East. But I get what Coach Lee's thinking here. If it's a quick incompletion, then Chapmanville gets the ball at the 38. Dalton's got the arm to get it to the end zone easily from here. You got a lot of athletes for Chapmanville. It doesn't want to take the chance of really taking a gut punch into halftime.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. And you definitely have to kick this. But, what is scary is what you're kicking it to. You have 2 options back here. That could take it to the house. So it's got to be a good, deep punt. Great coverage here by the coverage team.
So Hamrick's got to be careful on where he kicks this. It'll be high, end over end. Ward's going to have a chance. He'll take it to the outside. They've scored on the last play of the half the last 2 weeks, but a flag comes in here, and that will do it for the first half, as that'll likely be a hold or a block in the back against Chapmanville. So we'll await the official call here. If it's on Greenbrier East, there'd still be another play in the half, but if this is against Chapmanville, that'll be it.
Holding. Return team number 3. Penalty is declined. That's the end of the first half.
What a first half it was. 4 touchdowns and 5 drives for Greenbrier East. 4 touchdowns and 4 drives for the Chapmanville Tigers in this 8 versus 9 matchup. It's the number 9 seed Chapmanville leading the number 8 Greenbrier East 27-25 here at intermission. We're going to step aside for a break. We'll come back and we'll try and look through some scores from around the state of West Virginia here on this first round Friday night of the playoffs here in Greenbrier, West Virginia, as you are watching high school football playoff action here on the D&D Sports Network.
Smokey Armstrong here from United Motorsports of Belfry. Looking for your next adventure? We've got the motorcycles, side-by-sides, and ATVs needed to take your riding to the next level. Whether you're hitting the track, enjoying the trails, exploring the open road, or seeking comfort and style, we've got you covered with trusted brands like Honda, Polaris, and Kawasaki. At United Motorsports, we're not just about selling power sports, we're passionate about helping you find the perfect ride. Our team will work with you to customize your vehicle, offer expert advice, and provide top-notch service. No matter where your adventure takes you, ready to get started? Call us at 606-237-7311 or visit www.unitedmotorsportsbelfry.com or stop by today. Your next ride is waiting.
If you got a big job to get done, don't just trust any flagging service. Call Diamond Flagging Service. Diamond Flagging Service keeps your community safe while also making sure it stays moving. Give Diamond Flagging Service a call today for their services. They also offer amazing job opportunities. Diamond Flagging Services, proud supporter of the Mountain Athletes.
Getting ready for sports means protecting those eyes. Up to 90% of sport-related eye injuries can be prevented with proper eye protection. White Eye Care knows this and is committed to providing the best protective sportswear for your child's eyes. As a proud sponsor of our community sports programs, we want to see our kids protected, from the little ones up to the big leagues. Our huge selection of eyewear makes finding that perfect pair easy. So win big this season. Call White Eye Care in Logan for an appointment today.
All right, guys, welcome back here to the White Eye Care halftime show with Chris Kidd, Dwayne Williams, and Darryl McCoy on the call. Guys, real quick before we get into the analysis of the game, let's go over some of the scores from around the region that we have. We know right now Mingo Central leads James Monroe 17-14. Prestonsburg is up on Knox Central 14-0. Belfry having their way with Martin County 35-0. We also see Prestonsburg has scored again. Now they're up 22-0 on Knox Central. Covcath up on Johnson Central at the half 21-14. Russell leads Bourbon County 7-0. Pikeville up 14-6 on Williamsburg. Highlands leads Ashland 28-0. Lawrence County in a shootout with Rockcastle County 16-10. Tough game there. Bell County 29-0 over Knox Central. Somerset leads Danville 6-0. Middlesboro leads Hazard 16-6. As Logan trails Doddridge County 32-7. Logan County is up on E-Town 21-0. Boyle County leads Wayne County 42-0. And we we want to remind everybody, Tug Valley will play Tucker County at 1 p.m. tomorrow, so we can all everybody in the mountains can collectively cheer on the Panthers as they head up to Tucker County tomorrow. But here in this one, guys, Chapmanville leads 27-25 thanks to a Trey Ward touchdown. You know, it's been a game where both defenses have been exploited in certain areas, and both teams have been lucky to recover their own turnovers. You know, I think they've been 4 fumbles in the game, and the same team that fumbled has recovered it. So a lot of lucky breaks so far in this one. Second half should be interesting.
Yeah, because this is not the way I would have predicted this game was going to go. And
No.
not because of whatever score I said at the beginning or whatever. Again, I frankly, I have not seen Greenbrier East play this year, so I had no idea what to anticipate coming in. Same as I'd say a lot of their fans have been. They hadn't seen Chapmanville likely play a whole lot coming into this game. So you just kind of knew what you knew coming in, but I wouldn't have expected both defenses just get lit up the way they were here in the first half, and us to have 8 touchdowns and 9 drives coming out. I mean, it's been a very fun game, but it's also got to be a very stressful on the coaching staffs on both sides, because you know that one little mistake here or there, or we don't get a score right here, then we're going to be in a lot of trouble. And you know the pressure is probably a little bit more on Greenbrier East side now in the locker room, knowing that they didn't get the lead going into halftime, and now Chapmanville gets the ball to start the third quarter with the lead.
Yeah, the adjustments are going to be huge in this second half. And a lot of times that's a cliche, and most times, you know, there's not a whole lot of adjustments done, you know, in this as much as people say. But I do think that's going to be important in this game. We've seen the Chapmanville rushing offense dominate, but we've also seen them score behind the arm of Dakota Dalton. We've seen the Spartans light up the Chapmanville secondary. I'm anxious to see what each team does with their adjustments, but it is definitely a surprise to see this many points and this consistent drive and big plays against both of these defense. We talked on when we came on the air about how few points the Tiger defense have given up. We don't see any slacking in intensity. We've got to see how both teams, when that emotion let down at halftime, the adrenaline drops, you start to think a little bit. When they're out there play after play after play, these players are playing on instinct and, you know, adrenaline. Now they're hearing coaching. How's the coaches going to handle it? How the players are going to handle the break? And like you said, how does Greenbrier handle playing almost a perfect offensive first half, still trail, and still have to come out on defense at the start of second half?
It is. I mean, it's like playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, it's just, you know, we can keep scoring all we want, but if we can't stop anybody, what does it matter?
Yeah.
And I think that's the way both sides kind of feel here at halftime, because we mentioned Chapmanville's only given up 52 points all season long. They gave up almost half of that in the first half of this game. And, you know, we talked about how closely similar these teams are stylistically, athletically. I mean, it has been almost like the Spider-Man meme of just pointing at each other and it's like, you've got a playmaker, we got there's another one, and there's another one. I mean, they've been all over the place here tonight, so it's been a fascinating game of chess going on between both sides just to see who can get the upper hand.
Yeah, and it even goes down to the coaches. We've seen them go into their bag of tricks. They've got on some really unique wrinkles out there tonight. So I think it's the players, it's the coaches. They're doing the opposite ways, but they're definitely mirror images. And the Spider-Man meme is a perfect description, even down to fumble on kickoffs and recover. And I mean, almost at the same point of the field on their own side. So, you know, the adjustments, the emotions, because not only is the emotions like this in any high school game, but it's magnified when it's a playoff. You know, the Tigers, you know, they've made the playoffs in recent history, but this is the first time when they come in possibly as a quote-unquote favorite to a lot of people for this game, even though it's on the road because of their impressive regular season. So how these teams are going to manage their emotions, what I do see on the side of the offense, you mentioned the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't think any of the Tigers players are going to be going to the media and talking and giving out their frustrations on their defensive counterparts. I've seen a lot of guys on the offense, you know, from the quarterback down, talking to their defensive counterparts, you know, letting them know, keeping their head up. So I don't think you're going to see that. So how these teams handle the break at halftime and come out, and who can employ their new strategies.
Well, that was the Chapmanville marching band out there, guys. So as you're sitting here looking, the Chapmanville Marching Band coming out in character here as they are leaving the field, and you're getting ready to see one of the most notorious marching bands in the state, Greenbrier East, come out. But guys, to go to y'all's point, Chapmanville's only allowed 52 points all year, and they've allowed half that here in the first half. So, that's what everybody was wondering. Did the schedule Chapmanville played do them any favors, or would they have a shock to reality whenever they got to the playoffs? So far Chapmanville's offense has held ground, but it looks like this defense is still trying to get used to maybe a step up in competition.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in the passing game.
Yeah.
The secondary is going to have to step up and make some plays. They haven't been out of position or made bad plays like the one touchdown. It was great coverage by Evan Witt. It's just been good offensive play by the Spartans. So, Chris, I'm anxious to see, they can draw it up on the whiteboard. They can use their bulletin board material. They can employ a new strategy, but it's all going to come down to how they execute it on the field.
Yeah, and it feels like Greenbrier East had to work a little bit harder to get their scores as opposed to Chapmanville. I mean, Greenbrier had two very quick strikes, a kickoff return for a touchdown, a long throw for a touchdown. I mean, it doesn't matter either way. As long as you get the job done, it's all that matters. But it does feel like Chapmanville's had a few more chances to come up with a stop than what Greenbrier East has been able to have so far. Yeah,
I think Zach Belcher has done a tremendous job making adjustments as the games went on. Greenbrier East's coach keeps throwing different looks at them, and, it's a huge learning curve here. I mean, this is, Belcher, coming into the playoffs for the first time with expectations in his career, and I think he's done a pretty good job in the first half hanging on to that 2-point lead.
Yeah, he has, and the prime example of that was even on the offensive side of the ball that Chris pointed out was the time management. That long drive that, didn't leave the Spartans with much time at all at the end of the half. I mean, that was just executed flawlessly. That was one of my favorite coaching moments of the season that that I've been able to see, because that is very hard to do, because Chapmanville and their play caller on offense, James Barker, they're very, very aggressive. That's very hard to do, knowing you have those weapons, but you're playing the big game. You're looking at the big picture, so you're working the clock, and that was done to perfection. And, I think if the Tigers go on to win this game, I think we'll look back at that drive, Chris, to how it flipped this game, because, it's called the Belichick special, the New England special, because, Andy Reid and the Chiefs as well, they employed that, and that's such important when you can get essentially back-to-back possessions without a turnover, and it's just masterfully done. I'm anxious to see if that pays off for him.
Yeah, because, again, it's like trying to hold back a thoroughbred racehorse on that last drive. You can go down and score in a hurry, but, we don't want to open things up until we have to, and that's kind of the way Chapmanville treated that. They got their score. They made sure Greenbrier East didn't score. Worked out well, but now can they get that score to kind of consolidate that lead coming into the third quarter?
You're sitting here, guys. Let's take a second to look at the Jim Mars service comment section. Lance Allen says Barry Lilly said they are in a dogfight. Jody Fry says, let's go Tigers, show them what we're made of in Logan County. Said that we don't stand down for nobody. Stephen Butcher says, go Tigers. Robert Cynthia Jeffrey says, what's the score? The score is 27-25. Chapmanville leads Greenbrier East. We see Wayne Mullen says, go Tigers. We also got 7:29 says Terendez Bryant Jr. Fam checking in at the half in the Mingo Central game. Lonnie Hayes says, anyone got an update on Logan and Doddridge County? Just said it a while ago. Do you remember the score? Logan's down big to Doddridge right now. I can't remember what the score is. I'll try to find that for you.
Yeah, we'll try and take a look here on our scoreboard. It looks like 32-7 at the half. Doddridge County is up.
So Greg Powers says Chapmanville running the ball good. Mike Bledsoe says he's tuning in. Lonnie Hayes, 32-7. Jody Stallings says, man, don't talk about my Bengals like that.
They're my Bengals, too. It's just, I just live in reality, that's all.
Hooday. And then we see Ray Adams says, go Tigers from Morristown, Tennessee. Guys, let us know where you're watching from and who you're rooting for in the comment section below. We are an interactive broadcast. Hit that like and share button. We want you guys to be a part of the broadcast. So, we want to hear your thoughts. If you got questions on anything, let us know down in the Jim Mar Service comment section. Chris Kidd, Dwayne Williams, Darryl McCoy, Michael Sean Waller will be back, guys, in about 3 minutes as we'll have second half action coming up next here live from Lewisburg. And we are back here in Lewisburg, West Virginia, as we got the Chapmanville Tigers and Greenbrier East in the WVSSAC first round of the playoffs. Guys, want to remind everybody, you can watch these games also on NFHS while sitting back, sipping on your chocolate milk. Chocolate milk is an official sponsor of the WVSSAC playoffs. We want to thank NFHS and WVSSAC for everything they do. Guys, as we're getting ready to come out in the second half, it's 27-25 as you got Chapmanville leading Greenbrier East here on the Jim Mar Service scoreboard. We got Chris Kidd, Dwayne Williams, Darryl McCoy, and Michael Sean Waller on the call, guys. And we will be right back in about 15 seconds with Dwayne and Chris on the call. back here at Greenbrier East High School with Chris Kidd, Dwayne Williams. Want to remind everybody, guys, our great sponsors making tonight's broadcast happen. Smell My Tarts, Blessings and Blooms, Rebound Physical Therapy and Sports Performance, Cheech's Pizza, Perry Brothers Pond, Diamond Flag and Company, Aracoma Drug, Why I Care, Missy Birchfield at State Farm, Jim Marr Services, Chiefs Roadhouse, Logan Bank and Trust, Styles Unlimited Salon, and Trend Services, who's been with us all year supporting the Tigers and all Mountain athletes. Want to remind everybody, if you would like to advertise on D&D Sports Network, give D&D Sports Network a call today or contact Billy Davis, and he'll let you know about our great pricing on advertising. If we don't have a package that fits your need, we will tailor one for your convenience. Guys, Chris Kidd, Dwayne Williams on the call. Second half coming up.
Yeah, and again, you look throughout the rest of the state of West Virginia here on this Friday night. Again, some games won't be played until tomorrow, Dwayne. But let's go ahead and take a look at the very difficult to get in 4A playoffs. Let's see. I mean, I think you and I could have fielded 9 other guys and gotten into the playoffs, but
that's next year.
Yeah, we got to save something. But yeah, right now, Morgantown rolling over number 16, Buckhannon Upshur, 48-0 in the third quarter. Huntington up 35-0 on Hedgesville in the third. Martinsburg, the number 3 seed, 48-0 over Parkersburg South at halftime. Jefferson and Washington, the 4-13 matchup will be tomorrow. GW, number 5 seed, 58-0 over number 12 Oak Hill. Then you finally do get it to a competitive game. Number 6 Willing Park leading 19-14 over number 11 Woodrow Wilson. University, number 7 seed, up 34-14 on Parkersburg, and number 8 Spring Mills up 14-7 over number 9 Musselman. Again, as that participation trophy bracket is run through. And then you look at the other sides, and AAA, again, Bridgeport and Pikeview, they'll play tomorrow in the 1-16. Princeton and Hampshire, that'll be Saturday as well in the 2-15. The 3-14, bit of a surprise so far. Number 3 Fairmont Senior leading 21-20 over number 14 Robert C. Byrd so far. So there's a score to look at. Then you've got number 4 North Marion leading 28-17 over number 13 Kaiser. Number 5 Nitro up 14-7 on number 12 Capital. I figured that one had a chance to be a really good game tonight too. And then you look at number 6 Spring Valley and Elkins. That'll be tomorrow. Herbert Hoover Winfield. That'll be a good game. That'll be tomorrow as well. And then our game 27-25 here at the half. Then in AA, number 1 Frankfort handling Williamstown right now 35-0 in the third. Bluefield and Oak Glen, the 2-15 will be tomorrow. Number 3 Philip Barber 21-8 over number 14 South Harrison in the third quarter. Number 4 Independence leading number 13 Lincoln 14-10 at the half. Doddridge County, number 5 leading number 12 Logan 32-7 in the third quarter. Clay County leading Roane County in the 6-11 matchup, and a bit of a surprise, 25-12 right now at halftime. Midland Trail leading Petersburg in the 7-10 matchup, 20-12. And number 8 Mingo Central leading number 9 James Monroe, 17-14 at the half. And then the single A games, again, 1-16, Willing Central Tulsa will be tomorrow. Wahama and Man, 2-15 will be tomorrow. Clay Battelle and Ritchie County, 3-14 will be tomorrow. Number 4 Pendleton County leading Greenbrier West, 27-7 in the third quarter. Number 5 Sherman trailing number 12 East Hardy, 21-12 at halftime. And then the rest of the slate, 6-11 St. Mary's and Ward will be tomorrow. Number 7 Cameron and Meadowbridge will be tomorrow as well. And number 8 Tucker County against number 9 Tug Valley will be tomorrow as well. So that's the rundown in the West Virginia State playoffs so far here on this Friday night.
Got a few surprises there, Chris, across all classes. And, you know, I would dare to say there's no other more exciting game than what we're here in person witnessing. This is one of the games people are keeping an eye on, and it's living up to the hype right now.
Yeah, no doubt. No reason to check out any other game. Just keep it right here on the D&D Sports Network throughout the evening. But, yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, this game has just been phenomenal so far. I mean, you've had kickoff returns, you've had near turnovers, you've had points going off like a slot machine here in the first half. And I don't think we're going to see that same level of offense here in the second half. I think you'll see the defenses make some adjustments here, but at the same time, whose defense is going to step up here and make the first big stop?
Well, I got a question real quick, guys. Why did they bring the players back out to midfield before halftime and coin toss again?
They always do that at the start of the second half, just as like, do you want to defend this way? Do you want to take this side of the field? Do you still want the ball? Would you like to kick again? So, yeah, it's kind of the –
I've never seen them bring them out like that, though. Is that something in the playoffs or –
No, they've done that usually before every game or at halftime right before the start of the third quarter of each game.
And you were talking about we probably won't see that in the second half. I don't know much about betting or sports betting, things like that, but I wouldn't say that it was likely to happen. But so we'll see what happens in the second half. But sometimes when you have a high-scoring game, it's due to sloppy defense. It's due to broken plays. We've just seen really good execution. There's been a few misses here and some pass coverage and things like that, but overall, it's been very good defense just being scored on by precise offense.
I have to agree with that. Again, you only saw really one busted coverage by Chapmanville in that first half that led to a touchdown, but both sides have forced the others to really march down the field and try and do it methodically. I mean, Chapmanville's not scoring extra quickly on all their possessions. Neither is Greenbrier East. It's just, like you said, been better execution by the offenses so far. As the kickoff goes off the hands of Corbett into the hands of Ward. He'll go to the outside, jumps in the hole, tries to slam on the brakes and cut back, but Greenbrier East holds their lanes well, and they drop him at about the 29-yard line.
That's nice discipline by the kickoff coverage team, by the Spartans, because sometimes when you see a hiccup like that, it gets people out of their lanes, it gets the gunners out of their lanes. They stayed disciplined on the backside, and I'm sure that's been pounded into their brains all week long. You got to stay on the backside because Trey Ward can end up at any point on this field.
Well, now Chapmanville has the ball to start this third quarter, and again, they were 4 for 4 on touchdown drives in the first half. Only faced fourth down one time and scored on that play down deep in Greenbrier East territory. So the running game of Chapmanville has been lethal thus far, as has the passing attack. As Dalton will take the snap out of shotgun, gives it off to Kovac. Kovac gets across the 30, and he stood up as he's pushed back after a gain of about 3.
Had an initial hole there, and he busted right through, but great reaction by the Spartan defense to hold him at a minimal gain. So many times this season we've seen him get to that, borderline second level and extend that to a massive play. So all in all, a very good defensive play there by the Spartans.
Guys, just got official word. Chapmanville has brought over 300 fans over in their fan section right now.
Yeah, I got to say, Michael Sean Waller, good job by you, buddy. You were counting one by one over there who all did it. He put in the work at halftime.
Looky here, Dalton going deep.
Oh, and had Ward by a step, but just couldn't come up with it. And it'll be third down now for Chapmanville.
Yeah, that's the first deep shot we've seen this game like that. And even when double coverage right there, he was open, just a bit overthrown, but you can't really fault that because you have to get it out there, especially when you see the safety shading over. So just wasn't able to connect. But like we spoke of earlier, sometimes the play doesn't work, but it gives the defense something to think about. And, yeah, nice shout-out counting our fans over there, and that's what you get with D&D Sports. You get even the extra level of stats we bring you here each game.
We will count every piece of straw before we find that needle in a haystack.
Well, we've got the best stat man in the business at home right now doing stats for the game, Grayson Sanders. So he should give us a stat update here shortly for you guys.
There is another typical Preston Kovac run there, just bruising, getting that push from that offensive line. They want to set a tone here, and we want to see how it wears on each other. This defensive line versus this offensive line matchup is very, very impressive, but we've seen teams falter and fall the wayside against this powerful Chapmanville offensive line as the game goes on.
He's going to be short, and it's going to be fourth in the length of a credit card right now for Chapmanville, and they're definitely going to go for it from here. You hear the Greenbrier East fans begging for a stop, but they may have gotten Greenbrier to jump off sides.
That's the second time we've seen that. Unfortunately, our live feed went out and you missed the first one, but a great play there by Dakota Dalton with that hard count. We've seen that almost every single game this season. I know Chapmanville teaches that from the midget leagues on up, so I like to see that. It's a little bit of old school, but you got to take that shot right there in that scenario.
Chris Kidd, do you remember 2011 Point Pleasant versus Chapmanville?
Yep, I still remember being there, state semifinals.
Brady Cox said most fans he's ever seen travel to a Chapmanville game.
That was a fun run through the playoffs. I still remember freezing to death over in Braxton County, I think in the quarterfinal matchup that year. But, yeah, that was a great team. And, you know, that's the farthest Chapmanville's ever been, trying to see if they can equal that, if not surpass it in this postseason as Kovac gets a gain of 4 off the right side, and that'll bring up 2nd and 6.
No, that's it's a very strong 4-yard run, but you can see Preston Kovac is not 100%. You can see it in his gait, you can see it in his rhythm, but he's powering through it. He's getting behind that line. You know, he's not, you know, he's a senior. It's a playoff game. He's out there. He's that type of player.
And just going back to Brady there, it took me a second last week with the Gaddies reference. We used to have a reader at this radio station I worked for, and I used to play that up pretty well every week. So it finally hit me. I was like, oh, yeah, you acted like a clown on that. So on 2nd and 6, Dalton quick fire to the outside, able to find his man, because that'll be shy of the first down. Looks like Kovac making the grab. And it'll be 3rd down and maybe about 1 or 2 here.
And we haven't seen that much this season as well. Kovac coming out of the backfield, running a little out pattern there. Nice little wrinkle, safe completion, bringing up 3rd and short.
9.5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Neither one of these teams has been separated by more than a score all night long. Chapmanville trying to change that on this possession. Again, if you're just joining us, it was 8 touchdown drives in 9 possessions in the first half for these two teams. They give it off to Kovac. Kovac punishes his way forward, bulls over a couple of men inside the 40, and it'll be another 1st down.
Chris, I think we're seeing this offensive line. You know, we wondered what they talk about. That's like all the hypotheticals we love to talk about, you know, as sports fans, what's being talked about in the halftime adjustment. And I think this is just keeping it simple. We're going to go out there and dominate like we have all season long. We're going to wear them down. And so far, so good, because I'm seeing a lot of extra push by this offensive line.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Chapmanville at the 39-yard line of Greenbrier East. Dalton puts it in the breadbasket of Kovac again. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, drags a man forward for a gain of about 1, and it'll be 2nd and 9, maybe even 2nd and 8. We'll see where they spot it. But you can see Greenbrier East making a much more concerted effort to try and slow down this rushing attack in the second half.
Yeah, nice play there by Jackson Morgan, getting right up the A gap there to make the stop. So they're not going to be a pushover by any means. That's not what I mean by them wearing them down. I mean, this focus, this battle, I'm really enjoying this battle on the line of scrimmage.
So now 2nd and 9 as they push Atkins to one side, now bringing back to the left side as Kovac comes back into the backfield. Dalton gives it off, or actually it's Ward. Ward takes the handoff. He breaks to the outside. Ward in a foot race. Good luck catching him. Touchdown, Trey Ward.
I talked about you have to cover the entire field when you kick it off to Trey Ward. You have to cover the entire field every time he touches the ball. I love the fact that they're trying to get the ball in their most explosive playmaker they have. They've brought him in the backfield way more than they have all season. That's the wrinkle you see in playoff coaching. Great job by Coach Belcher and company.
Let's look at that one more time here. We'll look at it after the kickoff as we go to commercial.
That's an extra point now for Farrell. Had the last one miss off to the left. This is a big extra point. This could make it a 2-possession game, but now a flag comes in. And you can see Chapmanville is definitely getting bothered by Suttle.
Yes.
Coming off that edge.
That's the second procedure we've seen on PAT, and if correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember seeing one all season before this.
And let's see if they jumped off, though. Suttle did get a head start last time, and they whistled him for it.
Looks like it.
Yeah, they called it on the defense.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. And Chapmanville's going to bring the offense back out here. So, again, we saw them not do that last time, but with the way that Greenbrier East has been able to get pressure on these kicks on the extra points, I actually kind of agree with this right now to try and go for 2. You got it about half yard closer. Why not with the way you've been running the ball?
Yeah, you get closer there, and typically, you know, we don't have the analytics in high school, but you see the analytics tell you to go for it. You know, it's still a tough call to make because you're already at 8 points, and an extra point would make it a 2-possession score. So you're taking a little bit of a risk, but with their success rate, you don't fault it at all.
Dalton will give it off.
That's the only danger.
Yep, he got stuck, and he's not going to make it. He's still trying to push, but he's going to get brought down shy, and that keeps it at a 1-possession game with 8:15 to go in the third quarter. We'll be back after this as you're watching the high school football playoffs with us right here on the D&D Sports Network.
here at Greenbrier East High School. It's the Chapmanville Tigers leading Greenbrier East 33-25 on the Jim Moore service scoreboard. Real quick, let's go over to the Eric Coleman Drug comment section. We see Sarah Williams says, "Go Tigers." Scott Perry says, "Dump the play call," said, "Go for the extra point." Donna Huddleston says, "Tiger, Tiger, Tiger." And Anita Ambergy cheering on the Tigers. Brady Cox says, "Nice play by Ward." Chris Kidd, Dwayne Williams, Darryl McCoy on the call. 8:15 to go in the third quarter.
Chris has said before that play that was a big decision because the extra point gives you a 2-possession game. So that was a risky decision there, and it did not pay off for the Tigers.
Short pooch kick by McClanahan, and Greenbrier East will take it out across the 40 to the 41 and start their first possession of the second half from there. But, yeah, both of us even talked about it during the break, said Chapmanville's spooked right now by Suttle coming off that edge because he's come close a couple of times to blocking it, and I think right there they were just thinking, we don't really have an answer for him coming off, and he's gambling off that edge.
Yeah, he is.
He's willing to take the little half-yard penalty to try and get there to make the block, and I think that's what really sparked that decision to go for 2.
I totally agree, and we've talked about these little things that pop up in your, plant that seed of doubt. We've talked all season about how Chapmanville forces people to think about things, and they're getting that in return tonight.
Hamrick and Greenbrier East have their backs against the wall for the first time tonight with the football as they'll hand it off up the middle. Nothing there, and it's been kind of the story for the running game tonight for the Spartans. It's just not really been there for them, and it'll be 2nd and 9.
You got to respect, they're still trying to establish the run even though they haven't been successful, and you have to. You don't want this team to pin their ears back and get back the quarterback, but attacking that middle, that defensive front is probably the strength of this defense. That's a hard way to go to get yards.
Chris, if you are going to buy candles or tarts, where is your go-to place?
I mean, I got to go somewhere where I can smell good.
Got to go where you smell them.
Yeah, smell my tarts maybe?
There you go.
That's the best one. As they fire over the middle, and there's another completion as he's able to find Grant Burdett.
There's another example of these teams being mirror image. That's the exact same play that we saw to Benji Atkins earlier. So once again, another example of mirror image playoff football. And as this clock ticks away, we still in a 1 possession. We got to see if players get tight. They start worrying. They start thinking too much, not relying on instinct. So I think that's could be the difference, not changing who you are, not feeling pressure, not getting out of yourself. Let's see how both teams do down the stretch.
Guys, D&D Sports record, 39 states represented in the comment section.
Give it off in the backfield, and once again, nowhere to go as Kovac able to bring down the runner, Austin Witt, for a loss of 2 on the play.
Kovac's immediately in the backfield, chasing him down from behind. Just an excellent play. We've seen him battle with the ball in his hands. There we see him battle chasing the ball.
It'll be 2nd down and 12 from the 46-yard line. And this is the down Chapmanville's had trouble winning on right here, is on 2nd down. Can they put Greenbrier East in a 3rd and long with a stop here?
That's a great point because typically this is exactly where you want a team. But Greenbrier East has done a great job converting.
Out of the pistol is Hamrick on 2nd and 12. Quick fire on the slant behind his man. Was it picked or did it hit the ground? They say no, incomplete, as Witt almost able to come up with that, but it will bring up 3rd and 12 on that miscommunication.
A very rare miss by Hamrick there. The nice play call. They new wrinkle, a new stack formation we didn't see in the first half, so they made some changes. The play was there wide open with the quick slant, just threw behind him, and they avoided that disastrous play there because Witt almost came up with an interception.
Yeah, it looked like Hamrick thought that his man was going to sit down right there and instead kept coming on the slant, and there was just the miscue, and they got away with it, but now they face 3rd and 12. Hamrick running out of time, scrambles to the near side, looking downfield, and that's going to be incomplete, short of his intended target. And now 4th and 12, and really on this spot of the field, you feel like they have to kind of go for this.
Yeah, Chris, because there's not many stops. And I got to call out the effort there by the Mayor Jackson topping. The initial rush, I saw the jersey come away from there. He gets off that, gets back to the quarterback, another pull there. I'm not saying the refs are at fault. You could call that, many times in playoff football, but the fact that he battled through that, didn't look for a flag, didn't look for anything. After the play, he just holds up the signal for 4th down. So these guys are going after on both sides of the ball. Both of these teams, looks like they are going to line up for the punt.
I'm a little surprised if they do kick this away again. They have not stopped Chapmanville once tonight. but it is 4th and 12, so it's a tough call, and that one looked like it came off his leg funky, but it does do the job as it'll get all the way down to about the 15-yard line, and Chapmanville will take over there. But again, Chapmanville's 5 for 5 on scoring drives here tonight, Dwayne. You're showing a lot of trust in your defense, and Darryl, I think you've got a few things you wanted to say before we get this possession started.
Real quick, guys, want to thank Smell My Tarts, Blessings and Blooms, Rebound Physical Therapy and Sports Performance, Cheese's Pizza, Perry Brothers Pond, Diamond Flagging Company, Aracoma Drug, Y.I. Care, Missy Birchfield at State Farm, Jim Marr Services, Chiefs Roadhouse, Logan Bank and Trust, Styles Unlimited Salon, Trend Services, and Logan Regional Medical Center.
Yeah, again, we want to thank all of them helping us bring you all the action this season and now here in the playoffs, for all their support of Chapmanville Sports and D&D Network, as Adkins takes the handoff, and now a flag comes in way back in the secondary there. Again, you saw some Chapmanville players and a couple of Greenbrier East players getting jaw to jaw, but let's see what we get the call on here. This could be huge.
Guys, remember, if you get injured or you're in an accident and you want to get your health care met and your health care needs met, make sure you call Logan Regional Medical Center for all your health care needs. Also, Rebound Physical Therapy and Sports Performance will help you rebound from a workplace or game day injury 100% in the quickest amount of time possible. Rebound Physical Therapy and Sports Performance in Chapmanville, West Virginia.
I think that might have been a case of a little bit of frustration. Dawson Atkins was all the way down the field blocking, and the DB looked like there was might have a little bit of talk amongst them, and looked like he might have grabbed a face mask. Something went on there they didn't like, but this physical play down the line, and Chapmanville moving along. And you don't want to give this Chapmanville team any free yardage to get them in momentum and get them on a roll.
Yeah, they haven't needed the help here tonight, and that's a huge call as they throw a quick hitter for Ward, and Ward will squirm his way out towards midfield for another first down. And yeah, I mean, having Dawson Atkins in class last year, he may or may not be a little bit of a rage baiter. I mean, just saying.
I think he learned that. I think he learned that from his dad.
This isn't good. Trey Ward holding his leg. Hopefully it's just a cramp.
Yeah, again, they've got it held up the way you would treat a cramp right now. So hopefully that's all this is. Again, Ward's been a busy man here tonight. Has a couple of touchdowns to his credit. But hopefully that's all this is, and now they help him to his feet here. And again, you lose him out of that offense. Again, the offense obviously doesn't die, but it definitely takes away a lot of what you like to do if you're Chapmanville.
You got to wonder if the defense, no matter if he's out one play, 3 plays, hopefully he's back soon, but if the defense is going to change anything, because they've been shading the safety over to him. But that play there was an example where he can catch at the line of scrimmage, and the Spartans were in a good spot for defense, and he still turns it into a very positive game with his explosiveness. I mean, his first step is amazing.
That's what's so impressive about Trey, too, is that he sees the bodies all around him, and he's still thinking, how do I get through this? Or what step do I need to make to get through this? And he just makes so many difficult moves for defenders to have to try and stop him on. I mean, it takes a lot out of him each game, so hopefully he's going to be all right as they tend to him on the sideline. It's on 1st and 10. Dalton, quick throw again, finds Adkins. Adkins having a big game here tonight, too, as he gets inside the 40 for a pickup of 12 and another first down.
What a luxury to have. We talk about Trey Ward going off the field, but, hey, they still got Austin Atkins over here, who's the #1 receiver on any team you can put him on. That just shows you have to adapt and move on. Chapmanville has the depth to do that, so Greenbrier East can't relax at all just because they see an explosive playmaker on the sidelines.
And what I like that Chapmanville's done tonight, again, they haven't tried to get the big home run. They see Greenbrier is playing off the receivers a couple steps. Get it to them. Let Adkins, Trey, Benji, whoever, get the ball in some space and see what they can do with it. And they've been able to take advantage of that so far, but this may cost them 5 yards.
It looked like we were trying to get out there a little bit quick on the pulling action.
Ball start. Offense, number 50. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And you see another example of leadership there by Dakota Dalton. You know, he and Jackson Toppings are best friends. He goes immediately because Jackson, you know, you see him looking up a little bit. He's frustrated. Quarterback goes right to him, pats him up on the helmet. Let's keep this going. Forget about it. On to the next play. We've seen that all season long from basically this entire roster.
Yeah, and if that's a pull play, you know, I remember, well, I was just very slow. But, you know, you're itching to get out of that stance because you know you got to pull, you know you got to get to a spot, and sometimes you end up getting out a little too quick. As it's 1st and 15, they give it off to Kovac. Kovac bullies his way forward, gets lifted into the air, and still stays on his feet, still fighting forward. Unbelievable as Kovac gets down to the 33-yard line.
That just once again shows his effort. I mean, you know, some of the defenders kind of stop for a second because it's going to be whistled dead, or he's going down, and he pushes forward for 3 or 4 more yards.
That is an 8-yard pickup to make it 2nd down and 7. And again, we're under 4 minutes to go here in this 3rd quarter now. And Chapmanville eating the clock and eating field position. And if they can go in and score right here, again, that puts monumental pressure on the Spartans going forward.
Definitely looks like the drive at the end of the first half. They're in no hurry. They're using the clock a bit because they know a 2-score game at this point is very dangerous.
Dalton tried to go with a hard count there to get them to jump. Looks like Chapmanville's going to call a timeout now, as they do as the play clock nearly expires. And with 3:26 to go in the 3rd quarter, it's an 8-point lead for the Tigers. We'll be back right after this as you're watching high school football playoff action here on the D&D Sports Network.
5 times is a charm. Congratulations to the awesome team at Precision Heating, Cooling, Electrical for earning its 5th National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction, the only HVAC company in West Virginia to earn our award for 5 straight years. If you need heating, cooling, electrical work, a fantastic generator, residential or commercial, done right at a fair price by honest experts, remember the name, Precision Heating, Cooling, Electrical. Visit PreciseHeatingCooling.com for an appointment. Precision, the best of the best, again.
We are back here, guys, in Lewisburg, West Virginia. Greenbrier East High School. It's the Chapmanville Tigers leading 33-25 on the Jim Marr Service scoreboard. Chris Kidd, Darryl McCoy, Dwayne Williams, and Michael Sean Waller on the call here, guys. WVSSAC State Playoffs, Round 1.
So it's 2nd down and 7 here for Chapmanville at the Greenbrier East 33-yard line. Again, the Spartans have not stopped Chapmanville all night long. They've had 5 drives. All 5 have ended in touchdowns. But now a fumble picked up by the Spartans, and now going the other way with it into open space. Braden Brown will get to the corner, and he'll get to the end zone, and we've got a brand new ball game.
Chris, we were wondering who's going to make the first big mistake, who's going to have that game-turning momentum. That's exactly what the Spartans needed, because we were talking, if Chapmanville goes up by 2 scores at this point in the game, it's dangerous time. What a play by the Spartan defense. That's the 2nd mix-up we've seen on the handoff between the quarterback and the running back. So we talked about, Darryl, we talked about earlier how many times each team has recovered their own fumble. Yeah. This time it did not work that way, and another explosive play. You add that to the kickoff return, 2 major plays, one by the defense, 1 by the special teams, and now they're a 2-point conversion away from tying this game up.
Well, Chapmanville has had a problem with that. As you know, coming out of timeouts, they've had a couple turnovers this year out of timeouts, and that's the worst time to have them.
Worst time. And that's got to be frustrating, but this is another example. That is the hardest play they're ever going to have to forget in a short amount of time, but they're going to have amnesia right now, because this play right here is going to be the difference in a tie game or them keeping the lead.
I was ready to say the shell shock that this defense could be facing now, him to come back onto the field and defend this 2-point conversion attempt could play in the Greenbrier East hands here. Can they take advantage? Can they tie it up? Hamrick keeps it in his hands, rolls to the outside, but he's going to get brought down. A big tackle on the corner keeps Chapmanville in the lead as Austin Killen comes up with a key play.
A huge play by Austin Killen, a nice read option there, and we talked about how athletic Hamrick is.